Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and well, today's a bank holiday Monday and it's a lovely sunny day, and I went car boot sailing this morning. Only went to one car boot up in Chelford, which isn't that far away from me. You know, it's like 30 miles, 20-30 miles, something like that. Might even be less than that, to be honest. It's up where Jodrell Bank is. If you know this part of the world, there's a little village called Chelford, literally just next to it, only a mile or two away from it. And every Sunday and Bank Holiday Monday they have a huge car boot sale. And when I've got some free time and a bit of spare disposable cash in my pocket, I usually have a little wander up there and see if there's anything interesting. And I went up there today and I picked a few items up, and I thought I'd do a bit of a video, show you what I've got today. The first thing I picked up was this. I've got a nice little, it's a proper one, it's a real one, it's a genuine Swiss Army knife. I found that on a stall in another, it had basically like an ice cream tub full of pen knives. Most of them were nothing special. And I spotted this one. It needs a little bit of work on it. What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to drive the pin out on that side there, and a couple of these. I think it's been repaired before and they've actually put the corkscrew back in the wrong way round and it started pushing it away again. I need to drive the little brass pin out from that side and take out the corkscrew and take out... They always said that these this bit here was designed for removing stones from horses' hooves. I think it's some kind of like awl to bore into wood and stuff like that, but I always remember them being described as a thing for removing stones from horses' hooves, because if you look at the shape of it, oh, that's coming up on camera, is it? It's like a little V-shape thing. Like I said, I think it's an awl really for like boring into wood and things like that. And like I said, and the corkscrew appears to be in the wrong way, because if you shut it, if you look, it jams there. But if it was actually in the other way around, I think it would actually sit properly into its groove. And obviously when you push it in like that, it's actually pushing the metalwork away there. But that's fixable. I can take that into my little engineering shop, and I can draft the brass pin out. I can straighten all these up and then put a new pin in and pin it back over on the sides, and that'll be good, really good as new. I mean, like I said, it's a nice knife. This, it's got all the, it's like it's a proper MacGyver knife, you know. It's got all the proper bits on it. It's got a decent saw on it as well, if you look there. And it's got another, that's a good blade, and it is sharp. It is actually very, very sharp. What else have we got on here? We've got another little blade there, and we've got another saw, I think, if I can get it out. This is where when you're messing with, oh, let's see if I've got a tool I can get that out with. When you're messing with these things, you and getting everything out like that, you have a tendency to cut your finger. Yeah, so we've got another little saw there. Like I said, and then we've got the corkscrew. We've got the thing for taking stones out of horses' hooves. I nearly broke my nail then. I think that's something to do with fishing, for threading fishing lines or something like that. And we've got a, which is very stiff. Eee, dear, that is stiff. We've got a little file with a little hook on it as well. So I thought that was quite a nice little find. I paid £2 for that. So I didn't think that was a particularly bad buy. Like I say, it's quite an old one as well, and it is a genuine. It is a genuine Swiss Army knife. It's not one of the cheap copies. So I was quite pleased to find that going nice and cheap. Like I said, I'll do some repair and restoration work on that, and I'll have a rather nice Swiss Army knife for not a lot of money. So that was the first thing I picked up, and then picked this lot up. And what we've got in here, this is all CB radio equipment. There isn't actually CB radio with it, but it's basically all the accessories and all the add-ons you would have with a CB radio. Especially if you wanted to use it in your home rather than built into your car or into your boat or whatever you wanted to put it in. So we've got, this is a 13.8 volt 6 amp power supply. Obviously I don't know whether any of this stuff works yet, but I mean, there can't be that much to go wrong with one of these. I'm sure I can fix it if it doesn't work. I mean, the enclosure's a good solid enclosure for what I paid for this lot. So we've got a decent base station power supply there. We've got a nice little SWR meter, complete with the cable. And these are quite handy because actually my oscilloscope uses that style plug. So, well, one of my older oscilloscopes. So I couldn't even just reuse these connectors because they are actually quite expensive, them connectors, and we've got 2 of them. I've got, like I said, I've got some CB radio equipment, but just CBs and a few handsets. I didn't have an SWR meter. I do have an aerial, so I might have a play with some of my old CB stuff with that. And then I've got a couple of this is a realistic, which was Radio Shack in the UK. It was one of their brands, realistic, and they did do quite a bit of CB stuff back then. And it's obviously a powered one, this, I think. Yeah, it takes little. I think it's like a 12 volt. Is it? Oh, 7 volt battery inside it, so it's a powered one. Volume control on it, so it's quite a nice little CB handset. That obviously the plug's broken on it, and so I'll tidy that up and see if it works with one of my CB radios. And then we've got another. That's a Biotone. Again, it was another of the like cheaper CB from the probably from the 1980s. This one isn't powered, it doesn't have a battery, it just plugs straight into your CB. But again, what did Andy say these are called? I think he referred to them as coffin microphones because of the shape on them. But yeah, I picked that up as well, and this is the best bit was in the lot, which is, that's a Handmaster bass microphone. If we have a look down here, let's tilt you down and let's see if we can perhaps bring you in a little bit so you can have a proper look at this. There we go. There we are. And this is a Handmaster CB, basically a base station microphone. So instead of having a handheld microphone like those ones, this sits on your desk, volume control on it. That's your push to talk, so that pressing that down is the same as keying up, pressing that button there. And it also has a lock on it, so you can push it down and hands-free talk with it. So it's beat up, it's battered, but it's missing a foot there. It's missing the cover off the battery, but that's easy. That's stuff that's easy to repair, really. And put some new feet on it, give it a clean up. Probably respray it because it does look a bit of a mess, but that's a bit loose. It's a restoration project. That, in fact, I may do a video on doing a full restoration on that and making it back into a really nice microphone. It is quite a nice sought after microphone, and the best bit is I paid £3 for the whole lot. The guy just wanted shots of it, and basically all I'd seen that in a box of junk. And I asked him how much he wanted for it, and he said basically there's some other CB bits in there. He said dig them all out and give me £3 for the lot. So that's what I found in the box, and he just let me take the lot for £3. So I couldn't say it any fairer than that at all. I was absolutely over the moon with that lot for £3. I'll just put them away, and we'll come up to the next interesting things that I bought. Get them back in the bag. And that was now these are something a little bit different for me. These. Now again, this was the same car boot sale. I spotted a stall full of all kinds of weird and wonderful junk. There was some old MyFart lathe reduction gears and stuff like that. Anyway, I got talking to the guy behind the stall. It turns out that he did clearances for people, old sheds and garages and stuff like that. You know, you phone him up and you pay him like £50 or so, and he'd clear all the crap out of your shed or your garage. And he said he got called up to New Mills, I think it was, Some woman, her husband had died, and he said he had an old shed at the back of the garden full of all his old junk, and he was into like repairing motorbikes and stuff like that. And he said he got some old like 70s little Honda Punch, I think he said, moped parts and stuff, which no interest to me really. But these caught my eye. He had these on the stall, and to be honest, I haven't got a bloody clue what they were. They just looked interesting. And I asked him how much he wanted for them, and he let me have them for... he said if you take them both, you can have them for £4 each. So I said, fair enough. I'd give him £8 for the two of them. And what I've actually done some research since I've been home, and what it turns out they are, is, you know, the ultrasonic cleaning machines, big industrial ultrasonic cleaners. These are the power supplies that drive them. Well, basically they're a power amplifier that drives them. What they do, they are seriously powerful, these things, as ultrasonic cleaning stuff goes. These produce a 40 kilohertz signal to drive the transducers that make the actual ultrasonic cleaning baths do what they do, to actually vibrate them. But these things kick out 500 watts each. And having a look online, these things will run a 135 gallon ultrasonic cleaning tank. And if they work, they're actually worth a hell of a lot of money. We're talking a few £100 each. I don't know whether they work. I bought them because the cases just looked cool. I thought I could build something into them, but obviously they have got quite some value to them. So I'll probably see about seeing if I can find out whether they work or not. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do that. I'm going to have to probably build up some kind of dummy load to connect to them, and then I can have a look and see what I'm actually getting off them on a scope or something like that. I'll crack one open and let you have a look inside, because I mean they are seriously heavy duty in here, and they are so serviceable. They were made in the USA. They're American. They're actually made in Illinois in the US, and the company that makes them, which is Ultrasonic Cleaning Products, I think, or ultrasonic something products, are still in business. They still actually sell this kind of equipment, and they actually still sell like the newer version of these. And when you see stuff that says price on application, you know they're going to be pricey, you know it's going to be expensive stuff, and these are price on application. Anyway, let me pull one of these out of its cabinet and you can have a look what we've got inside. Now look at that. That is like, let's just get you down here so you can have a proper look. These are serious power amplifiers. Check the transistors out on here on these heat sinks. We've got two on that side and two on the other side, so it's obviously like double push-pull. We've got a massive fan in the front there. I'm not sure, I think these are chokes. And then look at these capacitor banks. There's huge capacitor banks in these. I mean, they're worth it alone just to strip for parts. Just look at the, like I said, I'm pretty sure these are going to be inductors, and they are massive. I've even got a fuse on that one there. Big juicy power transistors, and these capacitors here. I mean, I'm not actually sure how old they are, but these are orange dip capacitors. They are fairly modern. These generally don't fail. You can see where some have been replaced in the past in here. So these were probably in use up until fairly recently. Have a look on the other side. Ooh. Again, big beefy power transistors, and check out these wire wounds. I mean, what are these? 0.5 ohms, but these are like rated at like 20 watts, something like that each. The other 20-30 watts, even probably more than that. These big, the sand-filled power resistors. They're a wire wound resistor that are actually encapsulated in like a sand like that, because they get rather hot, but they're designed to take one hell of a load. Them again, look at these capacitors. They're seriously high quality stuff in these. If we look at, and then it comes out on the back, if we look on a BNC, that's what would have gone to the transducers to actually make the cleaning baths vibrate. And you can always tell quality of these, because when you pull them out of the unit, it actually disconnects the power there. That's the power input from actually the back of the case there. That's it. It's Ultrasonic Power Corporation, Freeport, Illinois, USA. and these are the 4P1-500s, and the 500 relates to 500 watts. So like I said, they are seriously powerful. The biggest like standard transducers I can find on eBay, and the transducers aren't particularly expensive. They're about a tenner each, but I'd need 10 of the things. They're only 50 watts each, and I know you can connect them together. I don't know whether it's in series or in parallel, but I know you can hook them all together, and you could probably drive them off one of these things. But I'd need 10 of the things just to be able to get this thing up and running to test it. And the size of the ultrasonic tank I'd need, I think they're a bit too powerful for my use. I do actually have an ultrasonic cleaning bath, but mine's like a tiny little thing about this big. It's not like a huge, great big industrial thing like that. To be honest, it does for my needs. I would like a slightly bigger one, but I think these are possibly overkill. But for something that's potentially worth, like I said, if they work, potentially worth a couple of £100 each. I don't think I did particularly bad at paying £4 each for them. So yeah, I picked them up, and then this afternoon I went over to see my mate Andy over. He has a YouTube channel which is Vintage Electronics Repair, and he'd phoned me up the other day while I was out on my boat and saying that he had some bits and bats that I might be interested in. So I went and called round to him today, and I took him another record player to play with, an old Van der Mullen that I've had stuck in my cellar for about 10 years, and like I said, that's his type of thing. And he gave me basically this pile here to play with. Let's start on the top. So we've got an old Android tablet to play with. It's not a bad one. So get it out of the box. Now what he said is he got two of these, and one had a cracked screen and one had a cracked digitizer, and he's basically put together one out of the two, but it's stuck in a boot loop. So I'm going to have a play with it. I mean, I've got a big box of tablets, so I might be able to do something with it. If not, I might be able to use spares from it. But hopefully I can get it out of the boot loop and just get it as another working tablet. And what I use these for is I cram them full of like WAV files for my old Spectrums and computers like that, and just use them as basically a way of playing software into old vintage computers. So you can never have too many of these things really. So hopefully I can get that going. The other thing that can cause the boot loops on these is BGA problem on one of the chips, and usually you can, with a hot air gun and a bit of liquid flux, you can it's like the dodgy way of doing it, but you can warm them up and reflow the balls on the BGA without pulling it off the board and reballing it. And like I say, if it is stuck in a boot loop and it's not software related, I'll have a go at that and see if I can get it working anyway. So I've got one of them. Put that away. I've got a big pile of bits of laptop. I mean, these are always handy, to be honest, because you always find laptops with missing keys on them. So I've got a big box of old laptop keyboards like this, and literally all I use them for is pinching keys off when I find a laptop that's got a missing key. Because if you keep enough of these, there's only a few actual various styles of key ever used. There's not that many manufacturers of the actual keys and the way the keys work. So with a dozen of these, you can usually find something to fit most laptops. So like I said, I've got a big box of these, and they always come in handy every now and again. A couple of old scrap laptops. I mean, they've been picked over already, but they've still got the odd useful bits and bats on them. I mean, like the copper heat sinks here are handy. I mean, if the boards power up, I might be able to do something with them, but it's just basically for stripping bits and bats and useful stuff off these. There's another one there that's I think that one's an Acer. Yeah, that's an Acer, and this one's a no screens in them, but I think he said the screens were broken when he got them. This is a Dell one, but again, it's just for literally picking over to pick any little useful bits. I won't show that because there's a Windows 7 key there that I might be able to use, but instead they're just for picking over for bits and bats, and see what other bits I can salvage out of them before they finally go to trash. And then this is quite a nice thing. He said it's in good condition actually. We've got a compact laptop screen. Now I've got one of them boards that comes from China, you know, an LCD driver board that you can use them to turn old laptop screens into tellies and things like that. I've always been looking for a screen to actually do something with it. I bought it specifically for driving one specific screen that I had, and it found out I couldn't do it with it. It wasn't compatible with it. It only drives the smaller screens like this, so hopefully I may be able to do something with that and that board I've got and make it into something. Hopefully, because it's got HDMI on it, that board, and I could do with a monitor basically for in here to replace this thing which is packing up. And this board I've got, it's got composite on it, it's got RGB on it, and it's got HDMI on it, so it's absolutely perfect. And it's got a digital tuner built in, so I could actually watch telly up here as well. So hopefully with that and that I can build myself a new test monitor to stick on the wall there. And what I was hoping is, because it's got its hinges and everything, I don't know whether this is going to be possible yet, if I can modify these hinges and actually have it fixed, literally fixed up there, and be able to drop it down when I need it. Like I said, it's just an idea I've got, and because I got it for free, I thought I'd have a play with it. So that's another thing that Andy gave me. And then this is what he actually phoned me up about. Now, I've very rarely done anything with these apart from repair a couple of power supply faults for people, and he got them in a worse state than they're in now. They were basically in pieces when he got them, and he has put one together. It's not 100% working, although it does seem like it's got a chance of being repaired. And it's it's unbelievable that these things are actually already being thrown away. What we've got, we can hoik them out of the bag. Like I said, they do need more work, but we've got a couple of PlayStation 4s. Now this one, apparently, he's basically put it all back together. It had some issues with the fan in it. One of his mates had a bash at them before he got hold of them, so we'll have to see whether they're savable or not. But apparently this one actually does read discs. It spins a hard drive up and everything. The only problem with it is it's getting absolutely nothing out of its HDMI port. Now, he says that it does look like his mate might have been doing a bit of soldering round there, so it could be that he's buggered up the HDMI port. It could be that the IC that drives the HDMI port inside it's gone. I don't know, because I'm going to have a play with these at a later date and see if I can actually do anything with it. But as well as that one, and this one's probably really is only suitable for spares, there is, if you can see in here, there is another one in absolute pieces. It is literally, you know, there's the board, there's the case. I mean, it's pretty much, it's mostly there, but it is in absolute pieces. I mean, look at the heatsink; it's full of crud and stuff, but rust. Yeah, and rust. So the PlayStation 4 hasn't been out for that long, and look at the corrosion on that. I mean, I expect to see that in like old Mega Drives and Master Systems and stuff, so I presume this may have had something spilt into it at some point, and that's what killed it. But yeah, so I've got most of 2 PlayStation 4s to play with, and all them laptop bits and what have you. And I said Andy got a Van der Mullen stereo off me to have a play with as well. So actually, I thought I'd show you. What I picked up today. I may be showing some of this, possibly like, especially that microphone that I've got, a restoration of that. And possibly some of these other bits and bats. So I thought, I just thought I'd show you what I got on this nice, hot, sunny bank holiday Monday. So hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.